Okay, so I was asked to put together a little YouTube video on battery savers, and basically I was asked to explain what they are, what they look like, and how to use them most effectively. And so this is the standard battery saver that we use on about 30% of the vehicles in the fleet right now. So anyways, what it's designed to do is to minimize the downtime from jump starts after long periods of exposure to what's called a parasitic load, which basically means that you might have a bunch of electrical devices that draw a little bit of a load over a long weekend and kill the battery, or perhaps something is left on. And this is to, like I said, minimize the downtime. And what you have here is basically just a solenoid that attaches to the battery, and it has a computer inside of it that senses the battery voltage. If the battery voltage is okay and everything's working as it should and the truck will start, there's a little light right here, and the LED light will be green. And if it detects a problem, for instance, if the parasitic draw has pulled the battery down to about 12 volts, that light will turn red, a solenoid will activate, and it'll actually separate the positive battery cable from the car. So electronically inside this device, not physically outside the device. So, and what will happen is then the truck will be dead when you go to try to start it, but with the red light on, it just means that you have to reset the priority start, and then it'll start up normally. You don't have to use a jump box on it. And so typically, this is how it will mount on a battery on the hood of your car, or under the hood of your car. It attaches to the battery by the positive terminal, and then the positive terminal that goes to the vehicle electrical system attaches here. And so what it does is, when it activates, when this light turns red, a solenoid inside here separates this cable from the cable that would be attached here, in effect severing the positive battery connection. And so there are two different ways to reset this. Some of these will be wired up where they're automatic, and these are wired up generally automatic, which means you don't have to do anything except turn a load on to get them to reset. Some of them also have a manual reset, which will be a red button that'll say battery or reset or battery reset, and it'll be located very close to the battery. I'll see if I can't find one of those. But most of them are automatic. Okay, so here is a battery saver right here that's still on a car, and if you look down there, you can see the light is green. Typically, the battery saver will have a reset button located in this area, which will be a red button, and it'll say battery or reset. This particular one is automatic, so it doesn't have that. Okay, so here's another one. This one, you can see the red light clearly. This is on Colorado. So again, it's an automatic one. There's no push red button to push to get it to reset. So if you look on the side here, you'll see the red light. That means that the battery saver has disengaged the battery and it's in battery saver mode. And there are two ways to reactivate this. The first way is just to turn on your spotlight for about 2 seconds or 3 seconds, and you'll hear the solenoid cycle. If that fails, there's this black wire that attaches to the side via the spade connector, and that's the battery interrupt circuit. And so what you'll hear is, if you just pull this off and reconnect it momentarily, you hear the solenoid re-engage the battery and the light turn green, and now the truck will start. Okay, again with this Colorado, I've got the battery saver, I left the headlights on, and what I want to show is right now it'll start and run, and you could probably hear the door chime dinging because the headlights are still on. But what I want to do is I want to show how the battery saver will shut the battery off within a few minutes of the load. Okay, so what you saw was after the battery voltage level drops to a certain amount, close to 12 volts, the battery saver will shut the battery off so that it stops drawing the battery down, so that the load on the truck stops drawing the battery down. In this case, I left the headlights on, and it took about 2 minutes for that to disengage the battery. And so resetting it is fairly easy. Again, it has this little black wire on that spade connector over there that you can just unplug. In the worst case scenario, you can just unplug it and plug it back in, and it'll cycle back to green and let you start it. The other option is to turn a load on or turn the headlights on, and I'll demonstrate that briefly. Okay, so this particular vehicle does not have a spotlight, so I can't turn a spotlight on. A spotlight is a load that is good enough to activate the battery saver. In this case, I had left the headlights on to activate the battery saver, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to start to show you that it's dead. So, and it doesn't start. There's nothing there. So if I turn the headlights back on, it'll register that there's a new load, and that's what that is. The solenoid will click over like it's supposed to, and now it'll start. So normally it's fairly simple to reset, but you have to have a large load, which would be like a spotlight, turning the spotlight on for 2 seconds, or just a simple thing like pressing the red button if it's a manual resettable one. Like I said, this one doesn't have a red button. Okay, so what we have here is the battery saver installed on an Equinox. And the reason I wanted to show this one is because this one actually has the manual reset that I was talking about. So this one doesn't have a battery issue with it right now. You can see the light down there is green. This one's a little bit more hard to reach because of the way the Equinox is configured. The battery is actually under this computer housing, so it's kind of down out of the way and hard to get to. But the main thing I wanted to show you was the battery reset. Now some of these will say battery like this one does, some of them will just say reset, but it's always a red button. And when that red light's on, that means that the battery is disengaged and the vehicle will not start. All you have to do is raise the hood up, push the red button, you'll hear the solenoid wind up, and then it'll start and run normally. Okay, so jump starting these things is a little more complex. In this instance, I can see that the battery saver light is on in red, so it just needs reset. But occasionally you might find that for some reason the battery is still drawn down and you need to jump start the battery. Well, the proper way to do that, it's easy to grab this connection here and jump start it off of that, and that's not really what you want to do because that's on the safe side of the battery saver. And if you do that, you can damage the battery saver itself. So the correct way to jump start it would be hook the red cable up to the red post on the battery itself, not on the battery saver. Even though sometimes it's easier to grab this post, you always want to grab the battery post. And then put your negative cable on the negative post. That will that'll charge the battery itself back up. Then you want to reset the battery saver itself, which in this case it's just easier for me to unplug it and plug it back in. The light will turn back to green, and then you can go ahead and start it. If you try to start it off of this post, like I said, it bypasses the battery saver, and then the battery won't necessarily charge back up because you're charging it on the wrong side of the battery saver. And you can actually damage the battery saver and then have all kinds of issues with it after that. So this is the correct setup for the jump start. Okay, so in summation, hopefully that'll clear things up as far as what the battery saver is, where it's located, how it works, and then how to reset it, and if necessary, how to jump start it. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, thank you.